Hello there, running-ears. It's Manny again, and wanted to make this video right before I take off to D23. I'm gonna make a video over there. I'm gonna let you guys know what's going on and see how it affects us as a runDisney community. Is there gonna be announcements for runDisney? I'll go over that in a little bit. But before we do, we're got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. Yes, Springtime Surprise was released, the theming early. So we'll go ahead and go over that. Some registrations happened last week. But before we do, guys, please subscribe to the channel. A whole bunch of you have not subscribed. I know you watch the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a whole bunch. And keep asking your questions. Please keep asking your questions. Comment down below. Ask your questions. Reach out to me on social media. And let's get right to it. So first up, a bunch of the Disneyland runs, actually all the runs have been opening up, but especially Disneyland, and one has stayed open for a while. That's a Dumbo Dare, Dumbo Double Dare. And so people have been asking why. Why is this happening? I don't know. It's none of my, it's beyond my pay grade to find out. I think a lot of charities are returning stuff, and so they're able to move them and try to sell them. And so something like this is going on. But it brings me to a point that's gonna start happening very soon, and I've already seen it. So this is bigger than that, because again, if you want to get into runs, you've already seen one is open. You're gonna see through Telegram and X. If you sign up for notifications, they will ding you. My Telegram dings almost all day. Sometimes even at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's been dinging. And so, but a lot of people are trying to get in last minute, especially the Halloween that's coming up and the Wine and Dine. And so a lot of people are coming in last minute, so they're getting a little bit desperate. So I've been seeing a lot of people trying to sell their bibs online. My gut feeling is that some of them are legit, people that don't understand what it means to not transfer, not sell bibs, not go that way. And again, you do not want to do that. If you do that, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's going on. But let's say Disney would allow that to happen. Well, what's going to happen is resellers are going to buy them all, and then you're going to buy them all at double, triple, quadruple the price, especially the prices of some of the popular ones are going to go up. So you don't want to do that. The other reason is, obviously, Disney does not allow it. So if you get caught, you're going to be trespassed. But I saw some brazen people out there saying, hey, no matter what, I'm going to sell my bib. I don't care. And so if you want to buy it, I don't want to waste it, flat out, saying this. Again, you guys are walking into a situation where you've now put it out there that, and Disney will take a look at these pages. They can, I should say, take a look at these pages. Then they can look up names, and then they go, oh, okay, let's go ahead and see. Okay, they did sell their bibs. All right, trespass. So it's not worth it in my mind. In my eyes, my mind, I don't think it's worth it. So just be aware of that. There is some charities still that have bibs. If you do need one, please reach out to me directly. I have in contact with 2 different charities, and they've been letting me know they still have bibs. As a matter of fact, Springtime Surprise bibs already dropped. So if you have a need for one ahead of time before registration, please reach out to me, and I can actually send you the link and get you guys registered ahead of time. So speaking of that, we had registration. We had registration for Princess, and from my understanding is some guy went in and talked a little bit about Club runDisney, and so you didn't get to hear my spiel. So what happened with Disney registration, so you see what happened, this was last week. So I always look at registration as from different perspectives. If you get in, it's the greatest, it's awesome, it's fantastic, whatever. And if you don't get in, it's the worst. Disney got to change it. It's not worth it. I can't understand it, whatever, so forth and so on. So this is what happens. And so it's going to continue happening because I don't see them changing the way that the registration goes anytime soon. Now, what my perspective was I actually got in pretty quickly, and I was able to register myself and 3 other people. I did that on purpose in a way because I needed to practice registering other people so that way I could report on what happens. And I was able to do so, and in multiple runs. So I was able to do so, and I was successful in doing so. I feel bad when people say, hey, I didn't get in. I really tried. I used everything that you said, and I still couldn't get in. Well, again, it's not a guarantee. I wish I could guarantee that. I can't. But keep trying, because one of these days you're gonna get in. We're gonna see you there. It's gonna be a magical run together. But the last thing I want people to do is get down, get angry, get upset, because again, we still got Telegram and we got some charities. So again, reach out to me because I still have some charities that have some princess bibs. So reach out to me and let me know, and I can actually get you those links. So let's move on to Club Run Disney membership. Just as predicted, there was only quite a few of the gold. There was no platinum. Platinum, as a matter of fact, when I logged in, it was already saying platinum is sold out about 15 minutes before, once it started refreshing and they put me in the queue. I was gonna guess that there's probably about 10 to maybe 15 gold that were available. And if you look right now, silver is still available. So if you watched the other guy last week, he was gonna tell you that silver is probably not worth it, but there is a way that it could be worth it. So it's not 100% proof this way, but at least it gives you a bit of a chance to upgrade to gold or platinum in the next year, a year or two, or whatever you feel like renewing. So if you get into silver, there's going to be a grace period of about a month that you can renew or upgrade. If there's numbers of upgrades, there's enough upgrades, you're gonna be able to upgrade to gold or platinum. So this is gonna be working in your favor. Now the first year, no, you do not get early entrance into the expo. You do not get early registration. You do not get better corral placement. You do not get any of those perks. You get a bunch of swag, and then you get the 10K medal. You don't get that. You only get that. You don't get the other perks, but you got your foot in the door for next year. So if it's something that you're on the fence about, you got to look at the investment, and it did charge a tax. So on top of the charge, which I think was $289, it's going to be over $300 with the tax. So just be aware of that, and that's going to be it. But think about it, okay? If you really want to get in there, just go ahead and register for the silver, and then next year, hopefully, you can move up a notch or two. So I'm wearing this for a reason, and that's because I knew Springtime Surprise theming was coming soon. I thought it was going to be right after D23, so next week. It came a couple weeks early. So a lot of people were, is it going to be Star Wars again? We got something for Disneyland, so is it going to match up? And the answer is no. So let's take a look at what the theming is. So first off, it's going to be hero themed. So here you can see our 4 heroes, but we are going to get into each individual run. So the 5K is Big Groot. We have Baby Groot, and now we have Big Groot for the 5K. 10K, Herc is here. Hercules has made his appearance, his first appearance. We got Elastigirl here, Incredigirl. So she is the 10 miler, and for the challenge, we got Baymax from Big Hero 6. So first off, guys, I kind of like some of them. I love one of them for sure. I kind of like some of them, and there's a couple of them that I kind of question, and this is why. Well, I'll start off with the 5K. The 5K actually makes sense because at Disneyland, you have Baby Groot for the 5K medal, and for the Springtime Surprise, you have grown Groot for the 5K, so it kind of is its own little coast to coast when it comes to 5K. So that would be a cool shirt, a 5K coast to coast with just Groot, Baby Groot into Big Groot. Now the 10K to me, because this is a hero theme, so remember Groot is a hero, and actually if you didn't watch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, he is one of the heroes of the movie, or he is the biggest hero in the movie, and if you watch it, I'm not going to spoil it for you, and so that's why he has such a following, and of course he goes into Baby Groot, and of course he's so cute, and so forth and so on, but he's a hero. Now the second one, the 10K, to me is way long overdue. I've been wanting him for a while, and we got Hercules for the 10K. This is the one that I really, really loved. So I really do love Mrs. Incredible, or Incredigirl. So it was awesome. It's a half marathon medal, and of course she is a hero, and that's awesome. But I kept thinking to myself, wouldn't that be better at Disneyland? Because over there you had Safari Mickey. Safari Mickey to me goes better, and I talked about this before, goes better at Disney World because you have Animal Kingdom. You have Pixar Pier at Disneyland, and you have the Incredicoaster. So, and as if you've ever ridden it, you actually get to see Incredigirl at least one time when she's on the roller coaster. And you see her, you hear her, and I think it would have just been it would have made a lot more sense at Disneyland than it would at Disney World. Again, I love Miss Incredible or Incredi Girl. I love her, so I think that yes, it's a good addition to it. But again, I just think it was the wrong host. Now the challenge medal is Baymax from Big Hero 6. Again, he is a hero. If you watch the movie, it was a great movie. And again, he sacrifices and he is the hero at the very end. So he lives up to the Big Hero 6. The only thing is that again at Disneyland they have a San Fran Tokyo. So over there they have actually a land basically or an area that is represented by Big Hero 6, and they don't have that at Disney World. So that's why I question. Now you can't bring a Dumbo Double Dare, or you can if you wanted to, but it's been a historic run that has been well established at Disneyland, so you got to keep it over there. So the challenge, I agree, they have to keep it there, but you could have had a bigger hero there. You know that we're going to run in Hollywood Studios more than likely, and we're going to end up in Epcot, so maybe the Guardians of the Galaxy would be a good one. Even like Indiana Jones would be good, or this is where you can put in a Star Wars character, Luke Skywalker with the other side Rey, you know, so the Skywalker connection is coming. So that would have been a really cool challenge medal. I do like Baymax. I love the movie. I've already told you about that. But again, to me, the better fit is at Disneyland. So now I think this is the longest I've gone on describing the medals or going over, the themings. So what do you guys think? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm crazy? It's okay to think I'm crazy. I think I'm crazy myself. But comment down below. Did you like the themings? Did you not find them great? I saw a lot of mixed stuff online. So, but what did you think? Did you think that this was appropriate for Disney World? But just let me know and comment down below. This is a segment that I'm so excited for because I've done stuff on D23, but I've never done predictions. I don't think I've done far out predictions on what I think is going to be announced. So what I want to talk about is some rumors, what I think will be announced, and then how it's going to affect us as a Run Disney community. Now I'm going to go over these 6 parks as it is. 6 parks as it is, and then I'll go over a couple of other rumors at the very end that might be additions. But I'm going to start at Disney World, and we're going to go over the 4 parks at Disney World. So the first 2 that we're going to start off with is the ones that have the rumor to have bigger changes. Some of these are not rumor. We know they're going to be changes. So what are the changes going to be? And we're going to start off with Magic Kingdom. So for Magic Kingdom, we have Beyond Thunder Mountain. I think it's been said, I remember the blue sky that was a couple of years ago at D23 in 2022. They talked about that. I think it's finally going to come true. So what is it going to be? Now, if you look at it, it's Beyond Thunder Mountain. So it's going to be Beyond Thunder Mountain. There's a possibility that they might even close where the Mark Twain boat is, and they might extend it there. So if they do that area, they're going to have to prep it. So it's going to be a while before they prep it, make sure that they cover it up, and then they start building. So remember, any of these lands are going to be a few years. Now, the other thing that they've said that they've leaked out is going to be one of the biggest expansions to an existing park ever. So think in terms of Galaxy's Edge, Toy Story Land, Avatar, Pandora. So it's going to be something like that. So what can go in there? So the biggest rumor they have is Villains Land. I think this would be the coolest thing, and I'll tell you why. If you have a Villains Land, one of the rumors they're going to have is it's going to be its own little almost indoor park. And of course it's going to be dark all the time because you got the villains there. And I think a cool addition would be if you had a walkway somehow going up or down, or down from up or up from down, and it's going into Fantasyland. So now you're going to the castle. So you got the good and you got the bad. So you go into from the heroes to the villains. I think it would be a cool little area to put together. I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to connect it, but that's one of the rumors of Villains Land. Another thing they've talked about is Coco. Now, Coco is a great movie. If you haven't watched it, it's one of those movies that takes a while to build up. Then once you get to the twists and the turns, you sit there going like, oh, wow, I didn't see that coming. This is so great. This is so awesome. And so it's a great movie. I think it needs to have some kind of representation in the park. I think that's overdue. So I think they're going to build something with Coco, or that's the other rumor, and I'll get to my predictions right now. And the next one is going to be that they are going to build a Moana ride. That one, again, I think it's going to happen, and I'll talk about it in a little bit when I make my predictions. It's going to be like a water flume ride, and it's going to be basically behind Pirates of the Caribbean. There's going to be a walkway. They have some area back there. So think about it like if Disneyland, when you got to go to Indiana Jones, you kind of have to walk all the way to the back to get into the ride, and then have to walk all the way back. It's going to be something similar, maybe not as long to walk back there, but it's going to be something you're going to walk to. And so that's another rumor. And then the last one is, if you notice, there's kind of something in Tomorrowland that's just there, and that used to be Stitch's Great Escape. They've been rumored that they're going to be doing something for years. This one doesn't have a high level of rumor. I wouldn't doubt it if they announced something, but you know, the latest thing that's been talked around is Wreck-It Ralph, some kind of Wreck-It Ralph, little attraction, little ride. I think that would be a cool addition. Wreck-It Ralph is not in any of the parks. He makes an appearance every once in a while at the parks, but I think that would be a cool one. So now, what do I think is going to happen? Yes, they're going to announce what they're going to do to Big Thunder, Beyond Big Thunder, and I think it's going to be a Villain's Land. I do really think it's going to be a Villain's Land, and I think there's a possibility that they're going to add a Coco Land too. And I do think that Moana will be added for sure. That's going to be another thing that they're going to add. I don't think they're going to add Wreck-It Ralph. So how is it going to affect us as a Run Disney community? Well, it's really not. It's not going to, at least at the beginning, it's not going to. The only thing that can affect us is we're going to have walls around Mark Twain Island, or that area where the boat is, if they decide to close that. So that's about the only thing we'll see, because we don't really run that way. We exit. We don't even run to where they're going to build a Moana ride. The only thing, again, walls if they're going to build something with Wreck-It Ralph, if they're going to do something with Stitch's Great Escape. So that's about the only things that we're going to see. Remember, Beyond Big Thunder is kind of far away. So we never run that way, or at least not right now. So we're probably just going to be able to see the construction, but we're going to run, and we're not going to be, it's not going to affect our route. Later on, once they build it, it might affect our route because we might be able to run over there. But again, that's something in the future. We got to see what they're going to do, and we'll go from there. But let's move on to the next one. So Animal Kingdom, and there is going to be major changes in Animal Kingdom. It seems like they're doing them already. From my understanding, they're already taking some stuff out of dinosaurs. There's been some trees there that were covering stuff. Now they're gone, and so that the changes are going to continue. Now we also know, or we're pretty sure, that Dino Land is going to close, and it is rumored that it's going to be an Encanto ride. So it's going to be like Casita. So I think that would be a great addition. It would be something that would be visually just really, really awesome to look at. The dinosaur we mentioned, that's going to be closing. That's again rumored to be in Indiana Jones, but more of a Tropical Americas, because that's going to be a Tropical Americas area. And so it's not going to be a carbon copy of the one in California. So I like that aspect, and we'll talk about that real quick. So whenever there's a carbon copy, you're taking away from the original. So when it comes to carbon copies here and there, okay, but if you start doing them over and over and over, then it becomes, you know, I've already done that at the other coast, so why am I going to come here? They might change a couple of things, but it just becomes, hey, you know, it's the same ride, just different coast. So Indiana Jones is probably going to be different, but they're going to build that. So the next thing we have is under the Tree of Life, we have It's Tough to Be a Bug, which is rumored to be replaced by something with a Zootopia theming. They've already kind of had a bunch of stuff leaked online, or at least concepts leaked online, not concept photos, but concepts of the ideas of how it's going to be. And then the last one that they've had rumored is something to do with the Lion King. They do have some land by where they have the Lion King play to maybe do some Lion King attractions. That would be great, because again, there is no ride for the Lion King, and that would be good. The only thing that you have to remember is whenever they build something, they can't be that close to the animals, because again, they don't want the animals, something to blow into that area, and then it disturbs the animal, even kills them, and that's what they don't want. So we have to be wary of that. But now I'm going to my predictions. What do I think is going to happen? So I think Dino Land is going to go away. I really do think so. They're going to just announce it. They're going to make it formal. It's going to become the Tropical Americas. I think Encanto will be going there. I think Dinosaur, so go ahead and get on Dinosaur as soon as you can, because I think they're going to announce it this weekend that that'll be closing. I think that's going to be one of the first to close, and they're going to replace that with Indiana Jones. Remember, they can't close all of them at the same time. If they do, then that's down 3 rides, and so Triceratops will close down also. So all of a sudden, if you have those 3, now all of a sudden nobody's going to go, and so they can't have that. So they're probably going to start off with Dinosaur, go and then go that way. Maybe even start a little bit later with the Tree of Life. But I think those three for sure are going to happen. So yes, I think the Tree of Life is going to replace. It's tough to be a bug, I should say. It's going to be replaced with some kind of Zootopia show. Now with the Lion King one, don't get me wrong. I think that would be awesome. That would be great. I think if they do announce it, they're going to announce it something like a Blue Sky, or something that's going to be a phase 2. I don't believe it's going to be something that's going to be announced that they're going to start on right away. They're not even going to give a time limit. They're just going to say, you know, we have a Blue Sky idea, or we're thinking that in a few years we'll talk about, and then in a future D23, that's when they'll announce it. So now let's go to the ones that, let's see what they're going to add. We're going to go to Hollywood Studios. So Hollywood Studios is basically, they added Toy Story Land, they added Galaxy's Edge. So, and then of course, even a little bit before that, or right around the same time, I should say, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Train was transformed. So what can they do there? Animation Courtyard is right there, and it's not doing anything right now. So they got a couple of things right there. So a lot of rumors have had, and this is where I'm going to go back to Villains Land. Some people have even said this would be this would be a great place for Villains Land, because again, it's Hollywood Studios, so they're theatrics, so forth and so on. So that would be there. They actually talked about a Bluey show right there also, whereas a Disney Junior is there. And then they got to do something with the Little Mermaid, because again, I think they're working on reopening that pretty soon. So what do I think is going to happen? Predictions. So I do think they're going to announce something. I think Bluey is going to be one of the things that they're going to announce for sure, because they need to have something for little children, and I think that's going to be, and from my understanding is, I've never watched it, but that he's very, very popular, so that would be one. I do think they're going to say something about Animation Courtyard. I'm not sure if it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a Villains Land. I think it's going to be something else. One of the other rumors they've had is a Monsters Inc. Roller coaster, which I think would be awesome. You know, you're following when they're actually towards the end of the movie, when they're following the doors. I think that would be a great track to go get on. But I think they're going to do something, and again, it should be something with Pixar themes. I think that if you continue doing Pixar themed stuff back there, you can kind of make it almost like a Pixar alley, Pixar, stuff, just a Pixar area, because of course you got Toy Story Land and you got Pixar Alley back there. So I think that they are going to announce some things, but I would not doubt it if it's going to be very, very minor and they have Blue Sky ideas. So now we go to Epcot. So Epcot is already going through one transformation. We've already finished, and again, a lot of people were not very, I'm included, that were not very impressed by what they did at the front of the reimagination of Communicore and so forth. I just thought to myself, it didn't have the feel. I think a lot of people probably think the same way. I think it's a good way to get out of the hot summer days. But besides that, it wasn't anything that like made me go like, man, I gotta get in there on a regular basis. And so there wasn't anything like that. And right now they are going through the restructuring or the retheming of Test Track back to the old, the motor. General Motors was the sponsor, so making it something like that, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be fantastic. So for Epcot, they also might do, and I think one of the things they may announce, because they've had a permit, I think that's coming out, is something to do with Journey to Imagination. Figment is basically the unofficial, main character of Epcot. And he doesn't have a great ride. The ride is breaking down all the time. There's a lot of just things that the audio is sometimes off. They got to redo something. Then I know they have some kind of permit that's out for that. I think that'd be something that would be great to do. So the other one too, the other rumor is something that they had before, and that is the redoing or the reimagining of Spaceship Earth. So that's another rumor. And my prediction is that they are, obviously they're going to finish with the Test Track reimagining to World of Motion, I believe, or going back to at least that same concept. I do believe they're going to announce something about Journey to Imagination. I don't know if it's going to be a full new ride, or they're just going to kind of add things here and there, but I think they're going to announce something there. I think that's really going to be it for Epcot. I think if anything, it's going to be a lot of Blue Sky, but nothing else. So I did talk about Magic Kingdom, how it's going to affect us as running, which is not going to be much. When it comes to Animal Kingdom, yes, that will affect us. If they close down Dino Land, we're either going to run in between two big walls, or we are going to have to be diverted somewhere else. My guess is we're going to run in between two walls. The other parts of it right now are not going to be affected, because it's tough to be a bug is under a tree, so we're not going to be affected at all. In Hollywood Studios, we really don't run close to Animation Courtyard. We pass by it, So we're probably going to do the same thing. So the last one is Epcot, and the only thing that's going to hinder our run is if where the walls are located, and from my understanding is they're located to where we usually run and exit out, or the way we have been exiting the last few runs. Something tells me we're going to go back to exiting towards Mexico, that area, and then running around. So that's going to be it for at least until next year. They should have that done. The World of Motion should be done sometime about mid next year, maybe even early next year. So maybe by next Springtime Surprise, we'll have that run again. Unless they move the walls and we can run through there. Again, I don't know, but that's going to be something that's going to be interesting because I think it's going to affect us for at least Wine and Dine and maybe Marathon Weekend. So now we're going to Disneyland. So Disneyland has a lot of rumors, stuff that's going on. Disneyland Forward was okayed. So does that mean that we're going to have places that we're not going to be able to run? I'll get to that in a little bit, but first, let's hear what the rumors are, starting with Disneyland and then California Adventure. So with Disneyland, a couple of things, not major. Number one is what's going to happen with Tomorrowland, because they still have the People Mover. For years it's been rumored. I think that rumor is basically from us, some of the fans who would like to see the People Mover put back up there, but I don't see it coming. They do from time to time sell shirts, the People Mover, and I think they do that. They kind of tease people. So I wouldn't see them doing anything. I do see maybe a Blue Sky or maybe some minor refurbs there, at least in the short term. Maybe something, again, long term later on, a phase 2, something that they're going to move on to later on in Tomorrowland. Besides that, guys, the only thing I'm going to say is the rest of the Beyond, the Disneyland Forward is expansion of the parks, and it's to areas we don't already know. It's going to be in parking lots, so it's going to be away from where we already run. So it's not going to affect us directly, at least not directly right away. Later on, it may be other areas that we can run in, and we do need a lot more areas at Disneyland to run in. So next one is California Adventure Park, and there's a couple of big things that could happen. Number one, we'll talk about, or the first thing I'll just mention real quickly, just like Disneyland, I just mentioned it, there's going to be some expansion. I'm almost sure of it. They have some plot of land that they're going to build. It's just going to expand to the existing park, but again, we haven't run in that area yet, so it'd be something for the future. Now, where we have the Hollywood area, the boulevard in the front, right by Animation Studios, where the Mike and Sully's Adventures are, that area right there. There's rumor that they're going to be doing something there. Maybe that new Avatar ride, or they may do the Avatar ride in other locations. Hey Bricky did a real good video on that. Watch him on that one. But it also said that because they have the monorail is going to have to be rerouted, which means the monorail system would be down for a while until it is rerouted, and probably until whatever it is gets built. So the monorail system may go down for 3, 4, 5 years. So that would be there. And then the last one was, I actually had the poster and I forgot it. Is the poster for the e-ticket attraction in Marvel. They badly need one. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy ride there, Mission Breakout. The Spider-Man one is a little bit, if you haven't done it yet, it's a little bit different. It's visually awesome. It's visually just great to walk in there. But again, they do need that third attraction, that big attraction. And they've been rumored. I think that that's something that they will announce, because they announced it last time that it was a phase 2. So now we're getting to phase 2 when it comes to this particular land. And so I think it's supposed to be something with King Thanos, where we're supposed to be going to save the galaxy with all the heroes. They're all going to get together. Captain Marvel, Iron Man, Thor, just on down the line. We're going to be able to go with them. It should be a really, really cool ride. And I do think they're going to announce something there. Now, running wise, we may be affected, because if it is in that Hollywood Boulevard area, if you notice, that's where we passed by, and that's where Dumbo was this last January, where we actually got to take his picture. Bolt was there too. So if that's the case, they're probably going to close that off. So we won't be able to run back there unless they walled it off a certain way. But again, it might be too much of an eyesore, at least initially when they start building it, for us to run back there. Now again, the addition is not going to, the Disneyland Forward, the whatever addition, probably is not going to affect us. But how about the e-ticket attraction in Marvel? I don't think it's going to affect us either, for the simple reason that we're going to run back there. We might see some building stuff, but we're not going to see it directly, because it's going to be built behind, so we won't be able to see it. Now in Disneyland, we do run around the back side, the back lots. So when we run around the back lots, that will be affected too, because they're going to be expanding. So a lot of those back lots might be covered with stuff, things that they're going to need, vehicles, so forth and so on, materials, and so that might affect it. So again, it's probably going to affect us more the routes at Disneyland. Again, if you've ever been and run at Disneyland, there's not a lot of room to run in there. The 5K is fine. The 10K, we're outside a little bit. The half marathon, we're outside a lot. So until that gets done, I think it might be a little bit less, but then after it gets done, we're going to run a little bit more in Disneyland. So the last thing I want to touch on, because this is viable, although I don't think it's going to happen, but I do think it is a viable rumor. And that is the fifth park or the fifth gate, fifth park, whatever you want to call it, at Walt Disney World, and the third gate, the third park at Disneyland. So first off, I just keep thinking to myself, if you're going to build a fifth or a third park, what are the themings going to be? At Disney World, you really don't have a lot of things that you can theme it, except maybe Villains Land. So I think that Villains Land would be great. It would be awesome. I just don't think they're going to do it. I just think that when you really think about it, some of the parks, a couple of the parks are not at capacity on a regular basis, and you'd be pulling from those now. So the only way that you would build a fifth park is you knew that all four parks were at capacity and there was still people who wanted to go in. So that's when you build the fifth park. I just don't see it. Is it out of the realm that they're going to announce it? No, it isn't. Because again, Epic Universe is coming to Universal, and so they might want to say, all right, we're going to try to keep up with them, so we're going to announce this. I just don't think they are, and with all the expansions that are going on, I think that's going to be enough for Walt Disney World. Now, a third park at Disneyland would make a little bit more sense. I actually stayed in a hotel where I got to see the area that they were going to build, or that's rumored to be building, and that is huge. It is a huge area. It's enough to cover a third park. Now, again, I've heard things like kind of like an Epcot kind of park, and they've been rumored for a while. I don't think it's gonna happen, especially with the expansions, the big expansions that are going to be already done at Disneyland and California Adventure. But when it comes to running a fifth park at Disney World, which would probably be close to ESPN Wide World of Sports, or the only other viable place is going to be between Epcot and Hollywood Studios, we would have other stuff to run in. And the same thing for Disneyland. I think that would be another place to run in. So again, Disneyland, the biggest problem, especially with the half marathon, is most of the run is not inside the park. Once you get a third park, now you're going to actually have less of a problem with that, because you're going to be able to run into that third park and make a lot of people happy during the runs. So with that said, what are you excited about, guys? Is there anything that I just said that sticks out in your mind saying, yeah? Or is there anything that I've missed? Any rumor? I know there's more rumors. I've heard a lot of ones that I left out. And so like Frozen Land, Zootopia Land, so forth and so on. Those mainly in Disneyland. Those would be the extra editions lands that they built. Anything that you would like to see done. Anything that you sit there going like, maybe I'm going to take a few years off, or at least a couple of runs off, because especially if they build this kind of stuff. Anything that catches your mind in a positive or negative way, please comment down below. Again, comment on the theming. I think that's going to be it's going to be fun to figure out what people think about the theming for Springtime Surprise in 2025. With that said, guys, I leave tomorrow. I'm going to be at Universal Hollywood, then I'm going to be at Disneyland, then D23 Friday and Saturday. I will make some videos. I will try to take pictures, show you whatever I can. I know that it's going to leak out even before I do that. So guys, if you see something, let me know what you guys think. And of course, I'll make a video and let you know what I found out and how I think it's going to affect us. But without further ado, as usual, create a magical day, create a magical run. And guys, see you sooner than later.